overcast today. A moody look it is. Today I want to give you some very straightforward, practical advice that you can put into play even today after watching this video that will help transform your space if you're living in a small space, make it feel more open, airy, and most importantly, bigger. Okay, let's make our spaces look bigger. If you're new to The Suitcase Designer, I'm April and I move a lot. I'm currently living in South Korea and this channel is a space for me to share with you the design tips and tricks that I've picked up from moving too many times. If you like the video and if it's helpful for you, be sure to give it a thumbs up. That goes so far in helping small YouTube channels like this one. So thank you in advance, and let me know in the comment section down below which tip you can use on your space to really transform it and make it feel so big. Before we get started, I feel like I shouldn't have to clarify this, but I'm going to. A rule of thumb always on The Suitcase Designer is if I'm saying one thing but you really love something else, you do it. Go for it. If you love it, go for it. I just want to share with you the tips that I picked up from living in a small space, and you do whatever works for you. The first rule of thumb I have for you, I mentioned in the Daiso video. Do you remember it? Don't buy things that are smaller than your fist. 95% of the time, I try to steer clear of anything that is fist size or smaller. When you have a lot of little things in one space, it just tends to feel really cluttery, and it just tends to kind of make your space feel a lot smaller. So the less you have, the more open your space is going to feel, and the more open your space is, the bigger it's going to feel. Number 2, avoid filling your space with too much furniture. You can easily make your space feel bigger by getting rid of some of your excess furniture and giving yourself some floor space. Or as I like to think of it, breathing room. What I like to recommend instead is that you stick to the essentials that you need for your space. Everyone's space is different, but stick to the basics for you. I like to buy less furniture, but the furniture that I do buy, I like to buy bulky, kind of oversized furniture for the space, which is not what other design outlets are going to tell you. They'll tell you to buy smaller pieces that fit the room because bulky furniture is going to make the room feel smaller. I disagree. When I have less furniture in my space and I have one bulky item, when I walk into that room, my eyes directly go to that one bulky item that's hopefully a very beautiful, stunning piece. But if I walk into a room and there's kind of all this furniture everywhere, my eyes bounce to every piece of furniture, and suddenly I've mapped out, because I'm tracking all the furniture, just how big or how small the space is. So when I have one piece, that's where my eyes tend to go. Especially when you have one piece and you have a lot of extra floor space around it, it's going to give that illusion that it's actually bigger. But again, do whatever works for you. Number 3, maybe you're thinking, hey April, that's really awesome, but I got a lot of stuff I need to store. I got you. My first response is going to be, do you really need that stuff? Like, you need all of that stuff? Is there anything that you can declutter and get rid of in this space? Or if we sit down and really ask ourselves, is this something that I absolutely love? Is this something that I use often? If the answer is yes, absolutely, keep it. But a lot of the times we can find things that we don't really need. By cleaning out any of the things that you don't absolutely love or need in your home, you're going to free up some of that space, not only physically in your house, but in your mind. And suddenly you'll walk into your space and you'll just feel so much better. And if you don't believe it, just try it. You can always fill your house up with more stuff later, but I guarantee you, you're gonna feel so good mentally after you declutter and organize your space. When I have little knickknacks on my countertop in our tiny bathroom, we usually have a lot of crazy tile going on in Korean bathrooms. The more like things that I have on the countertop, the smaller it feels. The same thing goes for our kitchen. I try to leave all clutter off of the countertop, so I actually see empty countertops, and it just makes your mind feel so good when you walk in and you see an empty counter. I just really like empty, free space, and it really does so much in making your small space feel bigger. Okay, but maybe you're saying, April, that absolutely does not work for me. I've gotten rid of everything, but I still have a lot of stuff that I need to keep stored. I got you again. Whenever you're choosing storage furniture, what I found works best is getting storage furniture that closes. I do not like open storage because it just tends to look cluttery. Even if you have baskets that are tucked away, there's usually just too much going on. Sometimes if you have kids especially, it works better if you have baskets in a playroom or something like that. Because it's all hiding behind closed doors, it gives the appearance that you have less stuff, also that you're more organized, but most importantly, your eyes, whenever you walk in, you don't see a million little things hiding on the shelves. You see a lot of clean lines that hiding behind, you got all that shit. Open storage just tends to look very cluttery, or at the very least you have to work very hard to keep it organized, but whenever it's closed, you can be as messy as you want and you just keep it behind the closed doors. I promise you, this works like a charm. So when you're choosing furniture for your small space, choose things that have closed doors. Number 5, you don't need to fill up every single inch of your wall with a photo or a trinket or something that you have. It's okay to have empty space on your walls. Gallery walls are absolutely stunning, and I think they can be done so well. That is an exception. You might be able to get away with having your gallery walls go crazy in your apartment. I think most often in small spaces, when you walk in and if you had a gallery wall on all of your walls, or just things up, even if they're Christmas lights strung or posters or whatever, concert tickets, whatever it is. I did that in college too, I know. The more stuff you have, the smaller your space feels. So it's okay to not have a lot of stuff up on your wall. If you want to do a gallery wall in a small space, I would just recommend leaving it to one area and extend it fully from the ceiling to the floor just to make your eyes draw upwards. It'll also make your room look a little bit bigger. Number 6, this one might be tricky for you depending on your space, so it definitely won't work for everyone. I know in this apartment it didn't work for us, but I have had small apartments where this really has worked, so if it works for you, you can try it. And that's to keep your furniture off of the walls, especially if you have a sofa or something. I think our natural reaction is that we have to have our sofa on the back of the wall, but that's not always the case. If you can move your sofa to the center of the room and somehow create, or side of the room, whatever, however your room is laid out, if you can create walkways on both sides of your room, suddenly you have this space around your sofa and you're creating more actually physical walkways around your sofa, and it gives that illusion that your room is bigger than it actually is. But again, that's not something that works for everybody. It really just depends on your space, but you might try it. Number 7, use a larger rug. Whenever you have a smaller rug, your eyes are drawn to this smaller rug and your room feels smaller. If you use a bigger rug, the opposite is true. The room starts to feel bigger. Personally, I try to avoid rugs with small prints on them because that's where your eyes are drawn, the room starts to feel smaller. In my really small spaces, I like to use either a solid print rug or some type of abstract rug without a small print to it. Number 8, let the natural light shine through, which can be tricky depending on your windows. I've noticed this especially in our master bedroom. Originally, I had some really beautiful blackout curtains that I bought from IKEA. They were this deep green, but even when I just had the curtains bunched up, and especially whenever I closed them, it was insane how crazy small my room started to feel immediately, and I felt so claustrophobic. I swapped them out for curtains like these. They're very light and bright curtains, and the best part is the natural light can still shine through. Using something that's brighter or lighter and still allows the light to shine through is going to really transform your space. Number 9, get a mirror. Mirrors, for obvious reasons, give the illusion that a room is bigger than it is, but if you can strategically place your mirror so that it reflects the natural light coming through your windows, magic is gonna happen. The bigger, the better. For obvious reasons, a mirror just makes the room look bigger than it actually is, and it actually is really great for taking your Instagram selfies too, so win-win. Number 10, this one might come with some resistance, and I totally understand. Again, there are exceptions to everything. The darker a room is, the smaller it's going to feel. Yes, there are rooms that I've seen that are very tastefully done. They're absolutely stunning. They have the black wall or like the sexy navy walls. When done well, they totally work for a small space. But a lot of the time, those don't work well for us because of whatever existing factors we have in our apartment. So the more often you can stick to lighter, brighter neutrals, the more open and airy your space and bigger your space is going to feel. Number 11. This one also might have some resistance, but hold on, hear me out. Too many prints, patterns, pillows, textures, and layers in your room can actually make it feel a lot smaller. My best advice is to choose one of those that you absolutely love and lean into that. But to be completely honest, I think if you have a lot of pillows on your sofa, and especially pillows with patterns, and then you want to layer your rugs, the more claustrophobic your room feels. If you love having throw pillows on your sofa, I totally get it, I do too. Go all in with that and maybe choose a solid print rug to help balance it out. Or maybe you really love the layered rug look and you want to go all in with that. Balance it out by using only solid throw pillows. You can still use a lot of solid pillows and I think the balance would be good. Or use minimal pillows on your sofa. The same goes with patterns or textures. The more that you have, I love textures by the way, the more patterns and textures that you have in your space, when you walk into that space, the more likely your eyes are just going to be darting around the room, taking note of all of those patterns and textures, and the room's just going to feel smaller. So choose one that you love, go all in with that one, and maybe lean lightly on the other ones. For example, in my bedroom, if I want to use a lot of printed, crazy pattern throw pillows, I'll balance it out by, for me, I would like to choose white bedding to balance it out, but at least a solid printed bedding. In a small space, it's really important to find a good balance. So my best recommendation is to choose one of these that you love and go all in with that one. And you might be thinking, hey, my space is limited. I need to put something on every single shelf and every single countertop and every single space that I have available because, hey, limited space. Having empty space is a good thing. It creates negative space or breathing room. So if you have a bookshelf, it's okay to leave one of them completely empty, and I guarantee it's just gonna start to open up your space a little bit more. Number 13, this one might be taken very personally and I apologize. I'm just trying to give you my best advice. If you live in a tiny home, you don't have a lot of space to fill up with extra things. So when you're shopping, ask yourself, do you really need this? Before you buy something, really stop to visualize exactly where that would go in your home. And if you follow the suitcase designer methods that we've talked about in previous videos, if you clean, declutter, and organize your space, you'll know where everything is and you'll be able to take stock of what you already have and judge whether or not you need to bring something else into your home. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and more importantly, I hope that these are tips that you can use in your own small space to make it feel bigger. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. It really does go so far in the YouTube world to help promote the channel. So thank you so much. Leave me a comment down below and let me know if these are any tips that you've already tried. And we'll be back on Friday with some more tips on how to make your home look really expensive, but when you're really on a budget, because maybe you're paying your student loans.